Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. EZA Beerus did indeed drop today. We do have him at 2 dupes, not fully rainbowed. Level 10 links though, he's ready to go. Unfortunately, no 200% lead. Out of the 3 200% leads that exist, which is the Carnival Gohan, the Super Saiyan Blues from Worldwide, and Turles, I have none of them. So, not fully on a 200% lead, but nonetheless, we're still going to try him out today. You can let me know how you're finding him down in the comments. We do have him linked up with probably his best linking partner / best unit to run him with, and that is LR Beerus and Whis. The only link we miss is Berserker, but unless there's another Beerus without or with a different name, you're probably not really going to get that link active. So, turn 1 stats, 233k attacks, that 191k defense. Is actually pretty nice. So starter turn defense for EZA Beerus is probably looking in the realms of just over 200k on a full 200% lead. And considering he stacks attack, starting there already, those are some pretty decent like turn 1 numbers, I won't lie. Those are some pretty decent turn 1 numbers. I've actually been really looking forward to this guy dropping. We're starting with 9.39 already on turn 1. What? As I said, this man stacks. This Beerus stacks. And he literally just started with a 9 million attack stat. He stacks. He stacks. He's only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. But we've literally just started over a 9 mil attack stat. Just like that. That's dumb. That's dumb. Now, I know defense is so important in this content, right? Like, you know, when it comes to Fusions of Masu, Shadow Dragon event, like, defense is really important. Offense is important, but defense probably slightly more. You know, you need to survive. But sometimes it's just fun to watch big number go boom. Like, it really is. So he is stacking attack by 30%. He does cause immense damage to the enemy and greatly lowers attack and defense. At the start of the turn, he's starting with attack plus 50%. Not that he really needs anymore, clearly. Defense plus 200%. He then gets an additional 150% attack on super as well. And as long as you get 3 or more key spheres, so not only is he going to make big number go boom, not only that, if you get 3 or more key spheres, he will have 40% damage reduction. Which, to be fair, considering he doesn't get any defense on super, he doesn't get any extra defense on super attack with that 150 gets either. It's pretty much like in the realms of like 200k defense with 40% damage reduction, which, if we're being completely honest, is only going to do so much in the current difficult content. Like, the 40% damage reduction is great, but he doesn't have the defensive numbers to go with it to make him tank like really well. Like, he'll tank a lot of hard enemies fine. We're up to 9.8 already. We're about to be on 10 mil. If he gets an additional right now, we're already on 10 mil. No additional. That's kind of... I mean, he's got 2 dupes in him, man. This is just what happens. I have dupes and Dokkan just ignores them. But yeah, he doesn't really have the defensive numbers to go with it. However, if you do get 7 or more key spheres, which is a little bit more difficult to do because 7 key spheres is quite a lot, he will get an additional 30% damage reduction before attacking. So that means if you can get him a total of 7 key spheres, Beerus will have a total of 70% damage reduction. So for the most part, not only is he going to be stacking the entire time and doing some very good damage, but then he can also defend pretty well on top of that, which is great. I'm just really curious to see how well he can tank against the likes of Shadow Dragon event, but more so Fusions of Masu, because you're looking at 500k basics and AoEs, you're looking at like a 1.3 mil super, then you have a 1.7, 1.8 million super to contend with a 700k basic. So while he does have that 70% damage reduction, which is great, like that's a whole lot of damage reduction, he is lacking a little bit defensively on the numbers. Like, usually we're saying units need like 1 million plus defense. to contend, right? Now, usually there are units that don't have guard and damage reduction and things like that. But Beerus, or at least for me, not on a full 200% lead, has 190 something K defense with 70% damage reduction, which obviously number-wise is nowhere near enough. Like all that damage reduction is really nice. So I'm really intrigued to see how he tanks. I think he won't get you killed. I don't think he'll take like loads. Maybe on a super he might take a chunk, but I don't think he'll get you killed. He won't get you one shot. I think basics he'll be able to tank just fine. I think it's like fusions and mastery super attacks that could do a little bit of damage to him, but I don't think he'll get one shot or anything. Especially because of all that damage reduction. So where are we up to numbers wise? We're only up to 373k attack stat, but we're basically on a 10 mil on super. I still love his active skill conditions. They're really good. HP when 70%, when HP is 70% or less, starting from the 4th turn is really nice. We've got that already. He does only get attack and defense plus 50%, and his attacks are effective against all types and guaranteed to hit for 1 turn. So it's not the best active. I mean, it beefs him up a little bit, and that's about it. So I mean, if you're in a phase, or maybe you're going for the kill shot and you want a bit of extra damage, or maybe even to just bulk up a little bit for the turn, maybe you think you need it, I don't know, maybe you don't have any items left, it's kind of helpful to use, but it doesn't do a lot. It doesn't do a lot. So we're not going to pop it just now. 373 we're on. We actually managed to get him 7 key spheres as well. Not that it really matters too much here. So if we were in a serious run right now, we would have all 7 key spheres we needed for 70% damage reduction. He does also get an additional attack and defense plus 150 within the same turn after receiving an attack. I mean, we've been seeing his attack and defense go up every time he gets hit anyway. So he does actually have, even not on a full 200% lead, he does have a little bit over 200k defense. Which again is not enough, but again, when you have 70% damage reduction, it's kind of like, alright, maybe you'll be alright. He also randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, and attacks become effective against all types when it's a Realm of Gods category enemy. Now we are facing a Realm of Gods category enemy. Funny enough, what helps Beerus a lot more, gives him a little bit more value right now, is one of the hardest enemies in the game is a Realm of Gods category enemy. So if you are going to take him in against Fusions and Masu, no matter what, his attacks are effective against all types, which, I mean, the first phase is going to have type advantage anyway, which is a major plus for him for doing damage and getting you out of that phase quickly. But at least on the second phase, I mean, if you're not hitting any crits, his attacks are effective against all types, as long as you're facing Fusions and Masu. Outside of that, of course, not too many enemies are Realm of Gods category enemies, so I don't think you're going to be getting that active all too often. But you're not really missing out on too much. Unless he has type disadvantage or he's type neutral and you don't specifically hit a crit, you know, maybe you don't have dupes, maybe your skill orbs aren't, triggering. Then maybe, but you're not really missing out on too much by not having your attacks effective against all types. However, missing out on the rainbow orb changing, that's a big hit. That is a big hit. So only getting that active when you're facing like Fusions and Masu and a Realm of Gods category enemy, little bit annoying, because of course you want to get that 7 or more key spheres as consistently as possible so you can get the full 70% damage reduction. Like 40 is nice, but 40 and 200k defense is only going to do so much. 70%, you know, it's simple maths. I know what I'd rather have, do you know what I mean? So it's a shame his orb changing's tied behind a Realm of Gods category enemy. If it was just the attacks effective against all types, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. So outside of Fusions and Masu, you actually may struggle a little bit to get his full damage reduction, which is a shame because it's handy. It's really handy. So against Shadow Dragon event, things might get a little bit techie for Beerus, I won't lie. Or you just do enough damage where, you know, you don't see him take any damage or enough damage. But yeah, against a Shadow Dragon event, you know, even now, look, we're facing a Realm of Gods enemy and I can only get 6 key spheres. I can only get 6. So we're up to 513k attack stat. This will probably be the last time we see of Beerus, but I mean, damage-wise, he's great. Defensively, if you're facing a Realm of Gods category enemy, great. If you can get 7 or more key spheres just in general, great, because 70% damage reduction is amazing. So defensively, he can be really, really good. And also his linking partner in LR Beerus and Whis is also a pretty good unit. So I actually really do like this EZA. It's just, if you're not facing a Realm of Gods category enemy, and you miss out on that orb changing, you have to get quite lucky with consistently getting 7 or more key spheres at all times to get 7 orbs to get his full 70% damage reduction. Which means Beerus goes from probably tanking really well, like amazingly well, to, oh, he could be caught. So it just kind of all depends. It's very, of course, with orb units, is very RNG related, very RNG based. It would have been a lot nicer if his orb changing wasn't tied to a condition and he just had his orb changing. Or maybe the condition was a little bit more relaxed so you can get it off a lot more frequently because he needs it, especially in this current content. But one thing I said that is in his favor is you're facing, or one of the hardest enemies in the game is Fusion's Master, who is a Realm of Gods category enemy. So he at least will have it there. Just outside of that, eventually when Global, which will be very soon, does get Shadow Dragon and Mega, for example, he won't have it there. So it's not bad. It's like a 50-50 in terms of like the condition. But overall, his EZA is pretty nice. You can do a lot of damage. You're going to be stacking the entire time. If you get any additionals, which I don't think I did, of course, it's going to be stacking up even quicker. Great linking partner. Defensively could be great. Of course, if the RNG doesn't go for you, you're not facing a Realm of Gods category enemy, things can get a little bit techie for Beerus. But overall, I like this EZA, and I can't wait to try him out in some difficult content. He looks quite impressive and looks like a lot of fun to use, but you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and posts.